From where I'm standing here, the Kyrgyz territory is over there. This side is Tajik. This canal is on the Tajik side. That side is again Kyrgyz. And on my left, it's Tajik territory again.
Chorku is a town of 30,000 inhabitants in northern Tajikistan. It's set in a small peninsula jutting into Kyrgyz territory. At first sight, it's no different from other towns in the region, but in the last few years, Chorku has become notorious for inter-ethnic conflicts. Ongoing border disputes regularly spark fighting here. Since independence, the boundaries of the former Soviet republics have changed. In the Fergana Valley, the borders between Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan are a tangled knot, dotted with a multitude of enclaves. On the 900-kilometre-long Tajik-Kyrgyz border, there are hundreds of contention spots. Chorku also has its own share of small Kyrgyz enclaves on the edges of the town itself. But the real problem is water. Here, agriculture is the main livelihood, and water is a real source of conflict.
Especially in spring, in May and June, we have many fights. The place is upside down over water. Our population is growing, but we don't have enough land, especially in Chorku, whereas the Kyrgyz own the surrounding hills and plains. Now, the Kyrgyz are cultivating new lands in the upstream areas. The population is also increasing, and water resources are diminishing. So in order to cultivate these lands, they also need water, which leads to conflicts. And it will get worse in the future if we don't find solutions to this problem.
Water is not lacking in Chorku, but it comes from Kyrgyzstan. And the Tortgul Canal, which flows behind the town, is in Kyrgyz territory. In spring and summer, it's guarded by militias. Some years, to stop people taking water, there are 15 to 20 checkpoints over a distance of 25 kilometers. Tempers fray, fights break out. There are often casualties. But water is a problem in general. Amu Darya and Sir Darya are the two major rivers crossing Central Asia. Both have been used for the irrigation of thirsty monocultures like cotton, introduced by the Soviets in the 1960s. The result was the ecological disaster in the Aral Sea. Since independence in 1991, the region relies even more on agriculture, and demand for water has increased. Tension is entirely focused on the two rivers. Reservoirs built during the Soviet era provide a steady flow. Only now the water is not managed by the central government in Moscow. It has to be shared between 5 different countries. So water is managed through a complex system of barters. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, mountainous and rich in resources, trade water to Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan for energy. But as the demand for water increases, tensions between the countries increase too. Water has become a political tool of control. For Tajikistan, the poorest of all the Central Asian republics, it's a tool for more energy. 75% of the waters from Karakum Reservoir go to Uzbekistan, leaving the Tajik fields dry. And the water distribution system is dilapidated. Since the breakup of the Soviet Union, the infrastructure has deteriorated. There is no planning or funding for maintenance. Most of the pump stations are in total disrepair.
It was built 41 years ago. It was built in 1962. Its lifespan is 25 years. Of course, we have to repair the equipment. At this stage, with good maintenance, it could last for another 5 to 6 years.
All this cost previously was supported through central government. Now the department simply does not have that capacity. That means they need to generate some revenue. and that revenue is going to, it has to come through people, from the users. And users have that mentality from the past because everything was supported from the government and they don't think it's their responsibility.
But the region's economy has collapsed and there are no funds for maintenance. Many industries have closed down. Big Soviet giants like this coal mine near Choku are now working at less than half their capacity, if at all. The coal is left lying about for children from surrounding towns and villages to gather. In Choku, unemployment has hit hard. In the past, the men used to go to Russia to look for work. Now, with the new borders, moving to other republics has become difficult. And those who have left don't come back. Mereniso Giyosova's husband has been gone for 4 years now.
I have 2 children. When my husband left, I was obliged to work in order to feed my children, bring them up, give them an education. In the past, the wages of the mine workers were high, but now salaries are very low everywhere, and life has become very difficult. My husband had to leave to look for a job to earn a living. Only once he sent us 150 Russian rubles in the beginning. After that, he has not sent anything. Now my life has become very difficult.
Mereniso hasn't heard from her husband for 4 years. She hopes he will come back someday. For now, she teaches singing at school and earns 13 somoni a month. That's $4. Her mother-in-law helps out with cleaning jobs. Between the two of them, they earn barely enough to feed their family.